Stay African.
Happy to hear it. Good evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Pratt. This is The Couch. It's a Wednesday, and so this evening it's a book review, the book review edition of the show. We have been reviewing Ama Ata Eidu's No Sweetness Here. We've done, some of the short stories in that collection of short stories. Well, this evening we are going to be reviewing the title short story. So the No Sweetness Here itself is the short story within the book that we are going to be reviewing this evening. And I have been joined by, as always, the very lovely Hilda Smith-Tonye. Hey, Hilda. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Looking lovely as well. I was telling you about the combination of your shirt and your shoe and how much I love it.
Yeah.
I hope the viewers can see this combination. My goodness.
You're looking lovely yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not a make wish.
No. Today we are
back.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, it's something from Talking Apparel. So I'll give you their number towards the end. And of course, I'm wearing ATL. You know that
yes,
I'm an ATL.
Beautiful
girl,
fabric.
So. Yes. Thank you, ATL Fabrics, for my fabric. This evening, for the first time, but he's a member of the team now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we have Roland Ofori, who happens to be an author. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Ama.
Why am I calling you Rolly? Why am I calling you?
My wife calls me Rolly, so
okay,
yeah.
so it's still...
Maybe she wants to reserve that for herself. So.
Exactly, forgive me, Mrs.
Yeah.
I'll go back to Roland. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Ama. How you doing?
I'm okay. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Good to have you here.
Yeah.
Great to have you
I
here.
hope I'll be comfortable in the seat, It feels
I will
like...
make. I don't know about hair, but I'm going to make you comfortable.
All right. Cool.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Impressions. I'll start with you, Roland.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting short story that kind of highlights a lot of societal ills that normally are biased towards women, and I think by the time you kind of read this story, introspectively, you begin to ask yourself questions about our traditions, about some of the things we do which we feel is normal, but it's actually not normal. And I like the tone of the narration, because the person who was narrating was a bit educated, was exposed. So though she tried to be as neutral as possible, you could feel her questioning a lot of stuff which was happening around there. And so I think it is a good book or a good story to read, just to kind of appreciate how far we are behind as a society, especially with respect to cushioning our women and giving them the right kind of support. Yeah. So yeah.
Great stuff. Hilda, what were your impressions?
Well, I hate tragedies,
Right.
especially when I have to read them. Tragedy is part of life, but I did not like the aspect of this tragedy. So for me, even though the story was good, like he was saying, I just didn't like the fact that it was a tragedy. Yeah.
I liked it. I really liked it. I liked it better than some of the other stories. What I liked about this narration was the fact that it sort of left you to decide a lot. There was not a lot of imposing of views.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I liked about it. There were so many issues that I felt the author, or perhaps the voice, would have been very strong about. But she sort of just laid the facts and asked questions. So at the end of the day, you, the viewer, you are left enough room sort of form your own impressions and decide for yourself what. And a lot of spaces too were left. A lot of questions. I had a lot of questions, but I'm sure these are all things that we would
delve
get into.
Yeah.
Right. Should we go straight to the themes?
Yeah.
Let's go straight to the themes. So where's all
All
the
right.
themes?
For me, as I said earlier, one of the themes which jumped at me was the theme around how unfairly we treat our women, and it seems to,
If I push you to give it a name, what would you call it?
I would say societal bias towards women. So you find, I don't know if he is the antagonist of the story, Kojofi, the fairly responsible man who, after giving the wife a patchy land, is not playing any active role even in raising the son. Of course, he's enjoying comfort somewhere else, and then he has the audacity to, want to take the child from Maame, and I was asking myself, why will you be doing that? And I just felt that maybe he wanted to do that out of spite.
Right.
And interestingly, you realize that the women behind him were the perpetrators, and then they were orchestrators of the whole thing. And another thing I realized was that they didn't have any kind of support system. I think the narrator mentioned that when she brought up the issue of abuse and wanting to get out of the marriage, even the uncles and then the aunties, nobody took her serious. We've heard a lot of stories recently in the media of some women being abused even unto their death, and I'm sure that they might have opened up at a point, but the people the very people who are supposed to support them will kind of brush it off until realize it is too late. So I was amazed that she enjoyed the least support from her own kindred. I'm talking about the women, and how they all branded and were hurling abuses towards her. So I felt that, hey, maybe we need to take a step back and ask ourselves that women who find themselves in such situations, are there any credible alternative with respect to support systems they could rely on? The last time we had a conversation, you mentioned that there's this woman who is doing something to help abused women.
Right.
I'm sure it is isolated, but as a nation that we want to move ahead, I've not seen any developed nation who have not taken their women seriously.
Right.
So I feel that we now need to put some intention behind having credible support systems for women who feel isolated, who feel left alone, challenged, so they can get that support, to be able to forge ahead, So that is one of the themes that kind of jumped at me. Yeah.
Societal bias towards women. Feel that?
I think that before we jump into societal bias, it's good to let our viewers know, just like a summary of the story.
I was hoping that the discussion would but she wants to do a proper summary.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that we might end up, because when you just talk about such themes, you see the glint in their eyes.
No, I know,
She's so passionate about women, so anytime you speak about such themes, we'll end up having the whole show about societal bias towards women. But it's a great theme. The book highlights it, but I was looking at it in the view of marriage and traditions.
So Hilda, give us a summary.
Okay, so I think that the book is about
the story.
The story is no sweetness here. So the story is about a woman who had an only son who was getting ready to be divorced from her marriage, her terrible marriage, and the role a teacher who is called Chicha played in the life of the woman and her son. So basically, that was what the woman succeeded in getting the divorce and losing her son in the end. So basically, that's what the story is about.
Say losing her son, because she lost the son.
Yes.
In a sense,
yeah.
As in the husband was going to take the son, but then she actually loses the son.
She actually loses the son. Yeah. So it's a really sad story, and when I read it, I was totally, totally down, you know, because it felt so real. That so many people are going through stuff like that, and sometimes they are not given the room to grieve,
Right.
you know, as much. And I love the fact that when teacher sees the woman in the grieving position, she did not go questioning why she is grieving, but she allowed her to grieve. Because I mean, the author takes us away from, you know, that, just to let us know that sometimes people need to be allowed to grieve, you know, a loss, especially the loss of a son that you so dearly love. So coming to themes, we see so many themes.
I want us to stay on societal bias towards women.
Marriage and traditions. We also see motherly love. We also see gender and beauty.
One after the other.
Yes. So I just want our viewers to know that even though we are going to be dwelling on societal bias,
there are a couple of themes.
I agree with you. So let's start with this one.
You see?
Then we move on to the other one.
All the themes you are mentioning has still got some.
You know what I'm saying?
So let's
start with this one.
See, Roland gave me a present on his side.
Yeah, when I read it, I I'm going to make Ame's day.
Yeah.
It'll be a different story than this time, but yeah.
No, you made her day. And yes, you know, Amma, you know, we always have this argument between you and I, where I feel that women are our own enemies. Right. And you're like, no, it's like society is our enemy. But when you look at the story, you realize that most of the people that were against this woman were women. You get it. And yes, society. But what made, the question I had was, what made those women so bitter to be against another woman in that way? Because if you read from the story, you realize that the woman, Maame, is it Maame? Maame. Ironically, yeah.
Maame with a son called Kwesi.
Kwesi.
My goodness.
Yeah. So Maame was happily married before her husband got other wives, and all of a sudden the husband's attitude changed when his sisters came into their marriage to sort of poke nose into whatever it is that she was doing, whether it was an inability to have more children but just had one child. The author did not vividly explain to us, but you can, as you were saying, there are so many questions. You can speculate to find out whether it was because she couldn't give birth to other children, whether she herself was an only child, so of course there was this sort of stigma on her that, hey, you're an only child, you've also brought forth only one child and all that. But it was alarming to see that her own family, her aunties, were against her divorcing the man, even though she was in a terrible relationship or marriage. And the man's sisters were also abusing the woman verbally and in any other way that they thought. So the thing is, why do women, certain women, are wicked? Why are they wicked to their fellow women? That's a question I was asking myself, you know. Mama, can you help me? Why are some women wicked towards other women?
I mean, my position would always be this. I think that it's only a reflection of this society. These women are products of the society that we find ourselves. Men are a product of the society that we find ourselves. It just so happens that men and women play different roles in society. So, you know, the women would manifest society's position more than men would. The way we are brought up culturally, socially, men tend to be, you know, reserved. They don't talk much. Society has made it such that the real man doesn't express as much as the woman. You know, so it is the woman who would manifest society's position. So women perpetuate society's positions more. So for me, it's not an issue of the woman. It's an issue of the society. Because we all agree collectively, both men and women, that some girls need to be circumcised. Men are not saying don't circumcise the girls. It's the women who do the actual act. It doesn't mean that the men are against it. So if a woman is circumcising another woman, it's not women against women. It's society against women. The fact that it's the woman with a blade doesn't mean that the man is against the act. That's my position. That's why I insist that it's not women against women. It's society against women. It's just unfortunate that women have been given the role of manifesting society's position.
So, are you saying that women have allowed themselves to be tools in the hand of society?
We are all tools in the hand of society, all of us. You know, consciously or unconsciously, we all sort of express how we've been taught to express. That's why I love non-conformists, because it's the only way we can make social change. If we decide that the fact that this is how it's always been doesn't make it correct, you know, which is why I have very unconventional, unpopular views about saying things, and we've had reasons to fight about something. Because I feel that telling me that this is how it's always been done is not enough. It's not enough for me. It has to be deeper than that.
Exactly. So if, based on what you just said, so if that is all how it's always been done, and when this book was written in the 60s, women were doing these things, and we are in 2021 2021 and women are still doing this. Where have we gone wrong in society?
I'm not sure I have the answer to that, but just to come into the conversation we're having, whether considering the story, felt like the main perpetrators of, you know, the protagonist's agony was fellow women, versus Ama's viewpoint that it could be the way women have been I think it's a blend of both, you know. It's a blend of both. But I think one of the key things that can help, you know, stem this cycle, to your point, it's been 60 plus years since this story, but these things still do happen. And for me, I think that the biggest thing within this is the role of education, and it's not just the formal education, but, you know, sensitizing society. And the truth is that people are not so steeped in their ways. If they've been exposed, they are willing to hear the other side. Though I might not agree with your viewpoint, but I'll still listen. You will have a very decent, you know, civil conversation, versus somebody who is entrenched with a view, but that doesn't have that kind of exposure. It's a shame that our literacy rate as a country is not where it's supposed to be. Not even talking about the quality of education itself, but I think that the more people get educated, the more they become amenable to having this progressive conversations, and then it will begin to, you know, tell on how they behave, because you will never begin to question some of the societal norms. And to your point, the assertion that this society has always been, it will feel normal until you get exposed, until you travel to a different culture, until you realize that maybe something. But if you are within that same space, it's really difficult to appreciate that it could be else. Yeah, it could be something else. So I think education is key, and I believe strongly that once men, because we can't leave the issue to just women and say that, hey, women, fix yourself or something. Once a man understands that, hey, one of my primary responsibilities is to shield and protect my wife, I feel that if the husband didn't allow the sisters and the aunties to come into the marriage, they couldn't have done all those things to her. So I think that men also need that kind of education. And when the man realizes that the minimum I can do is to protect and cover my wife and shield her from all this kind of onslaught from people who are supposed to know better, they'll back off, because I've realized that nobody will be in your business without your permission.
Absolutely.
And so whilst we drive literacy, we also kind of need to allow men to kind of appreciate that, hey, it is your responsibility to kind of give your wife that breathing space. We all grow, we all mature, and in doing so, you kind of save her from some of this onslaughts. Yeah,
I think that comes straight to your theme of marriage. But before then, last week the list was here, and we discussed her book. The book that she has written, Not This Widow, and she chronicles her experience. Having lost her husband and everything that happened up until the point where he's buried and all of that, and of course all the things that were done to her. This is somebody who lives in London. You think that this will be happening in your village somewhere, but no, even in London, with people that are educated and exposed, the kind of things that she went through as a widow, she sort of, and then, of course, she's a feisty woman. She's like, not this widow, and how she fought back and all of that. But as we had the conversation, I remember my colleague, Harriet, saying to me, Amma, these conversations are great, but how do we get them to our villages? Where, we understand this, we can have the, but somewhere else, it's not even a topic for discussion. Like, if a man is dead, they'll bath him and give the water to the wife to drink. And if she falls sick,
she's got something to do with it.
She killed the man. If she doesn't fall sick, she didn't. It's really black and white. So how do you go and have a conversation and say, no, don't do that? How would they know whether she killed the husband or not? And it just made me, I'm just throwing this out, it just made me realize that there's a lot of work to be done.
No, there is.
There's a lot of work to be done.
There is, yeah. And I think another theme has got to do with superstition. And,
all those ones. I thought we'll start with marriage, because you went straight to marriage, the man covering the wife.
Okay.
So what was your theme about marriage again, Hilda?
Oh, I'm looking at marriage and tradition.
Marriage and tradition.
As you were saying, I listened a bit to your conversation last week, and I was also alarmed to realize that for somebody who was in London and all that, traditions from Ghana still...
They got on a plane. Ghana and Sierra Leone, because the husband is not Ghanaian.
Yes. So
traditions got on the plane in 2 countries and followed her to London.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And it's like, where do you draw the line? And then I was thinking about all the different types of marriages that we have: marriage under ordinance, marriage under the customary law, and the different types of marriages that we have. What does the law say concerning marriage? And what does tradition say concerning marriage? You know that when somebody is going to get married, you always have to do the efiedie. This is a traditional marriage. That is what they'll say, that is marriage. Yeah. So you have the whole process of the giving away with the presentations and everything. And then that is considered marriage. Then you come again, if you're a Christian, to have the ordinance. Go to the church, and the church is blessed. And the church also have their idea concerning marriage. At which point do the 2 people in the marriage decide that this is how we want our marriage to be? After they have said the vows. Because when they first met, nobody was there. But because society or our tradition demands that marriage is a union between 2 families, we get the families involved. But this is a case where when you have a problem, you can't go back to those same families. But you have to try and solve it on your own. And if you are unable to do it, and in Mame's case, decide to leave, you are seen as the evil one. So where do we draw the line between traditions, ordinance, and the 2 people involved in the marriage? It's a very dicey thing. But I believe that when it comes to marriage, the very first thing is that 2 people met when nobody was there. And it will end with 2 people being there when nobody else is there. So the 2 people in that marriage should make sure that their marriage works and shuts down all outside voices.
I like that, yeah.
Because if you don't shut down the outside voices, and you think that those outside voices will be there for you when you need them, trust me, they will not be there. And Maame, she had no one. The people that she felt that, because she was an orphan, you know, herself, she was an orphan, and the people that she's been left to look after her also turned her down because they felt that, why are you a woman? I'm sure they wouldn't have had a problem if it was the Kojofi who was the one asking for the divorce. But because it was her asking for the divorce, her own people had a problem with it.
So she was agreeing to the divorce.
Yeah, no.
Right?
So
No, she asked for the. She wanted the divorce.
She wanted the divorce.
Yes,
So,
she wanted the divorce.
I think there's something I want to chip in here about the people you expect to be there for you. I think there was a one-liner in the story about her aunties being peeved about the fact that the mother left. The mother instructed that all the good to her. So what you realize is that there's always this element of jealousy. So typical situation. Let's say you grow up among girls or ladies, and then in their estimation you've made it in life, okay? And let's say that the first 3-4 years that you were just living on your own, every month, you know, there were things, there were stipends flying, and you could respond to a lot of emergencies. Then you marry, and then now you have to prioritize. So they might not get the things they used to get. So already they have a grudge with the woman, feeling that, hey, you are the one between us and our brother or our uncle. So if you realize in any family setting, the man who seems to be doing well, always the wife is tagged as a bad woman. Because after you start your family, there are responsibilities for the immediate and then for the future as well. But some people will not want to move on from, you know, those manner they used to get, and they expect that you continually be there. If it doesn't come, they already fall to the woman. So there is this perpetual revenge they are waiting. So in case the man dies and the man has not leveraged ordinance to even protect the property, they will come in the spirit of vengeance and make sure that even if they cannot get the property, they will exploit tradition to make your life
miserable.
Very, 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 very miserable. I remember, and it goes both ways. I remember recently, one friend of mine, he lost their wife, and he was surprised what the wife's family did to him.
Right.
You know, after spending all his fortune to try and save their wife, and like the kind of things they made him go through, because they felt that he wasn't sorted them out. So she just said to me that I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. Once we are done with the barrier, I'm going to block all these family members because we don't have any attachment. So people have all kinds of funny reasons, and they just leverage the traditions, you know, to kind of, you know, hit you back So for taking what they felt belongs to them. So yeah, I think that is my perspective about what you said.
And you know, if you look at the this man had 2 other wives,
right?
And he gave the land that was almost barren to this Maame to farm on. Now, if you give somebody something that is unproductive, how do you expect produce to come from that? You know, and then the woman turn around to blame her for not bringing enough. You know, right now we have this thing saying that a man and a woman in a home work together to make sure that the home works. So traditionally, women were not really going to work, you know, formally and all that. They were supporting with the farm work and then making sure that the home was kept and all that. But even at that time, they had to be given something to be able to make something out of. And I think it still extends to today. Whatever the 2 people put together, nobody should stand outside and think that, if this person was alone, he would have done better. Or if this person was alone, as you're saying, it goes both ways. I have heard of a situation where the woman died, and the woman's family felt that, oh, their daughter was better off, you know, before she went into marriage, and it was through she died through childbirth. That was very painful, and so it became a whole fight, which shouldn't be so. You understand? Two people have agreed to come together. Let us allow them to be able to sort out their own issues. Even if they bring the issues are beyond them and they bring it to you, you shouldn't leverage on whatever it is that they brought to you to become, you know, wicked.
Vengeance, exacting vengeance.
Yes, it's very terrible.
Still on the vengeance issue. Just last weekend, I think on Friday, I was at a bachelorette, you know, party, and the advice that was flowing around on the table, you know, girls, you know, advising her was mostly about the two of them and the troubles that they could, you know. And I remember just saying to her that, don't forget the outsiders too. Mm-hmm. Don't even forget about those of us sitting with you on this table. Because people go at people's marriages.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Consciously, unconsciously, directly, indirectly, people would come at your marriage.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting the way Roland puts it, because I think it's so, because sometimes for reasons that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people give you advice, and it's not well intentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. And you made a point about shutting.
Yeah.
Voice. You know, I've had some well-meaning family members trying to give me some advice. And first of all, if you give me advice, I look at your situation first and your marriage. And I'm not sure this person is proud of what is going on in her home. And she when she started speaking, I had to just shut her down and say, hey, please,
Madam,
mind your own business. Okay, so once they know that, no, this guy doesn't tolerate nonsense,
right,
they'll keep at bay. But
exactly.
Once you give them, you know, a lifeline, they'll begin to come in. That's why I always tell people that be careful about who you open up to when you're angry. Sometimes just find some place and cool, because sometimes your partner can piss you off, and if you don't take time, you say things you are not supposed to say. And I've seen situations whereby a man had lost respect for the wife's parents, because the woman overindulged in talking about the past of the parents, and at the end of the day, she's now complaining that the husband no longer respects. And I said, no, it's your fault, because these are things you don't go and tell.
right.
Yeah, these are things you don't go and tell another person. You said too much. It is not relevant to your marriage. Whatever is past is past. Your parents have made their mistakes. You are still here. Move on. But you've spent too much time making your husband disrespect them now, and now it hurts you that it doesn't accord them. So be very careful about the window, the little window you open for people, because not everyone, you know, has good intentions for you, even your friends, you know. So be very careful. And as you said, it is when the two of you met, there's nobody there, and you can decide to make it work or not. And if you're not intentional about this, before you realize, your marriage will become something that you never anticipated.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it is a very powerful theme.
Okay.
And since we are still on marriage, I think another sub theme was the very passive role the father played.
Oh,
because I maybe I'm mistaken, but I didn't feel Kojofi was playing any role in the 10-year-old boy's life
at all.
Yeah, and you expect that if that was the first wife, I don't know whether the woman delayed in giving birth, but men and their first sons, there's always a bond, you know, and it brings me to the point that, as you said, in the past, because there's a lot of wars and because the jobs available require a lot of, you know, manpower, once a man was able to provide, it felt like that is it. But nowadays, we have women who are also into productive venture, and in most homes they are also contributing. So I normally tell people that putting food on the table is not enough. You need to play an active role in the upbringing of your children. And I know a lot of men complain that when the children grow, they don't mind them despite all the things. It's not like they don't want to mind you, but
they don't know you.
They don't know you.
There's no relationship.
There's absolutely no relationship. So they will call you and within 30 seconds they are done. But after they will call the old lady in 2 hours.
There's a backstory. Do you remember my friend, the one who used to come to the house, the one when you came to my school? That's my. There's a backstory.
Yeah. So in that my book of quotes, I had a funny quote which said that a man who is too busy to spend time with his family will end up spending time alone in his old age. Right. Because there's no bond. They don't have any reference point to come back and reminisce about the good. There's nothing. So all of a sudden you go on retirement, you are now wasted, and you want an attention you didn't build. So it is something that occurs, and I've heard a lot of older men complain about how their wives have win the children of or won the children over. But it is emotional investment you put intention in when they are young, so that they can still have a relationship with you. So I just want to put it out there that yes, you are putting them in all the best of schools and you are providing, but spend time to build that bond, because you need it when you are old.
I love this one. I love this, and I remember so well a conversation I had with Petra here, and I said to Petra that I don't understand why men do that to themselves. You work so hard. You give them money, right? And yet you don't allow yourself to have a relationship with your kids, because that's the only joy there is in parenting. Why would you do that to yourself? It's like you're robbing yourself of the joys of parenthood, because the child does not connect with school fees, and he doesn't connect with beautiful clothes or a beautiful home. He connects with you. So you slaving away all year round, giving him this and that and that and that, means it doesn't mean as much as the one who is there bathing him, kissing his hand if it gets hurt, being there when he's consoling him, taking him to school, bringing him back. These are the things that a child, and I always wonder why men deprive themselves of this and come back and complain. I don't know how you do it.
You can't.
Charlie, I can't.
No, but now we have some men that are doing that. They are doing so well, and
like my husband.
Yes, and mine.
Roland, right?
I'm trying to.
Yes. So yes. Hey, babe. Yeah. So yeah, some of them are doing amazing when it comes to being involved in with the welfare of their children, and I think that we should give them that, and also let the women also who are also busy now chasing career, to also know that you can't have it both ways. You can have it both ways, but you can't have it both ways if you deny one and chase the other. But if you balance, you can have it both ways, because at the end of the day, I believe that women also need to find themselves when children are old, apart from bagging them with phone calls and then worrying that, hey, my child hasn't called me in 3 days, in 4 days. I believe that if a woman too is also accomplished and she was able to chase her dreams and her children are old, she also has other things to also be looking forward to, so that if in her old age the children are not calling, she won't say that she wasted her time taking care of people who have become ungrateful, because we are having that now, where some parents feel that, okay, I spent all my time taking care of you, and this is the thanks I get. In my old age, you're not even there to sit. The children will definitely grow wings and fly. We have to let them grow the wings and fly, but we also have to make sure that we have that balance. The balance is very important. Chase those dreams. By all means, do whatever it is that you have to do as a woman, but make sure that at the end of the day, and as a man, at the end of the day, the offsprings that you are bringing, you make time for them, bond with them, spend some quality time. It doesn't mean 24/7. No, we can't do that. Even the children gets bored at some point.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
during the COVID lockdown, I mean, my children were online. They just started going to school, and they went to school and they were so happy. I was picking them up very early, and then I was giving a warning, "Mommy, please, don't come."
Give us some time.
Don't come. I was concerned that, like, oh, the transition from staying at home for that long, but Charlotte, they were free, and it made me think that, hey, if I have to do something for myself, I also need to find the balance and start doing it now, because these children are growing so fast. They'll grow, and you will not be able to, you know, be mothering them as you want to or as you are doing now. So by all means take care of them, but by all means also make sure that
have the balance. Now let's bring it back to no sweetness here. Imagine how tragic it would have been for Kwesi to end up with Kojofi.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
All he's ever known is his mother.
Yeah. And you know, the narrator made a statement that he wasn't going to be the favorite.
No.
And I thought it was a nice. We were just trying to put it in a nice way. And we all know the amazing stories of, you know, stepmothers and
two of them.
Yeah, and the things they can do, you know, and especially before the tag around the mom.
Right.
For her being a witch, just because she was an only child, and you now adopting a witch, the son of a witch. So maybe it was better he left the scene that way. Yeah, but
I think that the author wanted us to experience the tragedy he would have experienced in his father's home. That's how come he brought that one in, you know, so that you will see that he going was as good as he did.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's my question, right? Why would Maame allow it?
So, you know, and it was one question I was asking myself, because I inferred from that story that in her lineage or in her family they were matrilineal.
Right.
So she had
was hers.
But you know, one of the aunties again of the husband said that despite you having right to the child, the father needs to also benefit.
Yes, he has to be of service to his father.
And you know, this whole tag of, you know, bastard not having, you know, a father figure can also be key. You know, in our society, you'll not be forgiven.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, you can accomplish all what you could have accomplished, but without you having a father figure, you'll be seen as a bastard or something. Right. So she was also thinking that, hey, how do I ensure what is best for my son? And then maybe I think at the back of her mind she will find creative ways to still, you know, engage with the son on a regular. Yeah, because it was clear the video wasn't a very big space. Right. Yeah, but she was just trying to ensure that at the end of the day, after all the abuse and the trauma she's gone through, she would let go and still, you know,
in the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a break. Let's drink some ultimate water and some Sparks juice drink. Sobolo. This one is pineapple, right? Right. Let's drink some pineapple Sobolo. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
All right. Cheers.
Why do you know?
Whatever the occasion, with ATL, you can never be out of style. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
Every day, he has a drink filled with malt. Every day, he has a drink filled with malt and milk. Every day, he has a drink filled with malt, milk, and cocoa. Every day, he needs the nutritious goodness of Milo. Milo, the energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved. Every day, he looks after his brother and chases a bus. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, and learns new things. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, and gets back home. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, gets back home, and helps his mom. Phew. That's why every day he needs his cup of Milo filled with the nutritious goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa. Milo, the energy to go further.
From Nestle.
This advert is FDA approved.
Access to quality healthcare does not have to be a chore. At Hag Hospital and Fertility Center, we provide quality and comprehensive health checks for general and special health conditions. We are open each day for consultation on general health conditions. Our trusted physicians are available to provide patient-centered care in these specialized areas. Specialized family physician, fertility and gynecological consultations, pediatric services, dental services, and physiotherapy. We also operate a 24-hour COVID testing center open to the general public with on-demand home care services. For your surgical services, Hag Hospital and Fertility Center has an ultra-modern equipped theater with seasoned surgeons to attend to your needs. Locate us at Izora Roundabout, West Tresako, and Cedar Medical Plaza off the Graphic Road, opposite MTN office. Telephone 0248-299-930. Hag Hospital, your health our priority.
Welcome back from the break. If you are just joining in, this is The Couch. My name is Pratt. I'm here with Hilda and Roland, and we are reviewing No Sweetness here. Let me just read this from Facebook, and this is from Akokeri Junior Tiero. He says, the workers of Kojo Asempa Furniture Works, Edum Kumasi, are watching. Okay, guys, thank you. Abdul Basis, I see your long message, but stay on topic. Stay on topic. Right, Roland. So you were speaking about
the need for fathers to play more active role in.
Yes, we didn't give a name to the theme. That's why I was struggling. When did you give it that theme?
So I think it is about active parenting by men,
Right.
which is
Right.
quite critical. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. We've exhausted that. Can we move on to another
Yeah,
theme?
I think we have.
We have.
Yeah.
Or should we do characterization?
Well, let's do motherly love.
Okay, let's go there.
Since we're talking about
Let's
active,
do that.
let's do
Okay,
motherly
motherly
love.
love.
This what they want to take me out of the conversation.
Oh no! We don't want to take you out of the conversation, but I think that motherly love runs through the whole story.
Okay.
Right from the beginning, where the Maame we want to
Sorry,
take
these names are
lashes.
killing me.
Interestingly, when I read and I saw the Maame first, I was like, hey. So
That's
no one
not
you. So this is a mother who will do anything for the son. Anything, including taking lashes. Should the son misbehave in school and all that, and then having the boy taken away from her through nothing but a snake bite. It's really sad, and no mother should be made to go through that. The reason I wanted us to talk about motherly love also as an extension for the whole parenting thing is that mothers invest emotionally in their children. They invest emotionally in their children, but yet they also sometimes think they know what is best for their children, and that can sort of have some sort of impact. If you read a story, you realize that the teacher wanted to take Kwesi away at a point, but the mother kept saying, "Don't take him away from me. If he's not there, what will I do? If I lose him, I'll be nothing."
Yeah.
And she ends up. Mothers, we are supposed to love our children, but we can't live our lives through our children.
Yeah.
No matter how much, we should be able to love them enough to let them go.
That's interesting.
Love them enough to make their mistakes, but still love them enough to also lead them in the right direction. So yes, our love can be so great, because a mother is the one that can drop everything. I mean, literally everything that she is doing when she hears a call that, hey, your child is this, and come rushing. Fathers will try and analyze the situation, and ask questions and everything. But the moment you call a mother and say, "Hey, Obakwesi," she say, "Oh, I cannot cry," like literally not listening to the rest. She will appear where it is before they will say, "Oh, I wanted to tell you that." Oh, say, and she realize that there is nothing. But much as we have that love for our children, we shouldn't live our lives in our children. We should love them enough to make their own choices, their own decisions, and then also love them enough to be able to let them go.
Yeah, I think it is an interesting thing you brought up. And whilst we were speaking, I was just thinking, where is that fine line between the motherly love and then being overly protective?
Exactly.
And I don't know whether, to our earlier conversation around societal expectation,
right,
it comes across as, no matter what you achieve in life as a woman in this part of our world, if you don't have a child, like you are considered rubbish. And I've seen situations whereby a cleaner is saying something really detrimental about a woman CEO because she's not married or because she's not giving birth. So it is made, women are made to believe that, like, your trump card to societal respect, and as always,
it's marriage and childbirth.
Marriage and then childbirth. So whereas the man could always have something to be proud of, it feels you can't hold your own as a woman in our part of this world if you don't have that trump card. And that is why sometimes the man can chill, and there have been times where I tell my wife that, Charlie, chill, these children, they will leave us. So at a point, you can't keep them at home forever. So maybe let's also build bonds. But there have been times where I want us to go and hide somewhere and she's talking about the children, and I'm like, hey,
yeah, we can't leave them like that.
Grandma is around, let's enjoy, let's leave them, because one day they will leave and we realize that we don't have anything to talk about again.
Exactly.
So by dint of societal expectation, women are programmed to believe that all they have is their child. That is why, as you said earlier, I get to a point where it is really difficult for them to let go. And even if they marry, they want to play an active role in their marriage, because, as you said, they feel they have groomed them, they know what is best for them, but it doesn't work that way. So sometimes the worst of mother-in-laws started with very good intention, you know, to help the spouse of the daughter or son to kind of, you know, navigate, but they end up doing it too much and then they get tagged. So I think that if women begin to feel in this part of our world that they can still be accorded the right level of respect without, you know, having anything to do with childbirth, maybe they can loosen up a bit. And typically, if a child does anything wrong, they'll say, "No, Maame, you know." So there's so much expectation, and it has been linked that your worth as a woman or as a married woman is how well your children grow and turn up. So if that doesn't turn up well, it becomes really difficult for the woman to, you know, dissociate from that. So I think there's a bit of society tradition that kind of positions our women to, you know, believe that without their children they don't have a life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. It's, you know, the funniest thing I found about the book, talking about, you know, childbirth and a woman's, is the part where Kojofi, as part of the things he's asking for, he asked for the medicine he gave his wife to conceive. Mm-hmm. That's the part I just like, oh wow, this guy is serious. Yeah. Like, he's asking for the bride price, he's asking for some trunk he got here, he's asking, and then he goes and asks for money for the medicine that he gave his wife to conceive.
And he's going to take the child from.
And then he wants to take the child. And then he wants to take the child.
He was very selfish.
So you see, to him,
he was wicked. You know.
Childbirth is her sole responsibility, not a shared.
Not shared.
No.
So him giving her medicine to conceive.
It's a favor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Which medicine was that anyway?
Right? But it's so true, and it reflects again how we view womanhood, like you are saying, and childbirth is the woman's soul. You know, and we've come far from the, you know, I mean, when you watch African movies and the couple can have children, the man always refuses to go for checkup. It cannot be him.
It cannot be, yeah.
How does it involve him? I mean, that it's all on her.
It's all on her, yeah.
It's all on her. And when the children come, then suddenly they belong to the man.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Hilda.
You know, one thing I found very interesting, which is also still prevailing, is the whole thing about beauty and gender. You know, the standards are different for men and women. You know, the teacher's admiration of Kwesi's beauty. You know, the boy was described as beautiful in the book, and it's like it's a taboo to describe a man as beautiful.
He was too fine, you know.
Shall I find for you?
You know, so I wonder, it's like when it comes to women, you want a woman to be beautiful.
You have to be.
You have to be beautiful. But a man must be fearfully and wonderfully
exactly.
Fearful and ugly, you know.
I found that very strange.
Right.
You get it, and that has actually also created a different kind of sexual orientation where we have men being what's the name, sapiosexual, where they love themselves too much because their beauty is what they care about, and they don't care about other this thing. But I feel that if men and women are recognized as being beautiful creations, what is wrong with?
You know, that just brought to mind Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I remember her saying so well. You know, one of her talks.
Yeah.
She talks about how she felt too much beauty had been wasted on a guy. I don't know if it was in one of her books or she was referencing her brother.
Okay.
And I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
She kept going on about how beauty had been wasted on,
Yeah, you know.
on a man.
Why is that? Why is that?
You know, so you can always trace it back to the societal roles or the traditional roles men and women played. As a man in the olden days, you needed the muscle.
Right.
You need to be fearful to be able to stand.
Right.
Because imagine two factions going to war, and you see very cool, beautiful men versus, you know, fearful, ugly Maxo. So the functional requirement kind of made society skew towards that hey, you need to have the muscle. So that you can do the battle and all that.
These days, when we talk about a beautiful man, we mean muscles as well. Now, when women are feeling over a guy, his
he's beautiful. Oh, okay.
His six packs are muscles or held up.
But the six pack has still got to do with muscles. You know, it's a lot of hard work to be able to get that. So
you have to have the face as well. Gosh.
Yeah.
You have to.
But I'm told that it is here. If you have the face here in the pocket, you know, everyone can forgive.
You shouldn't have the face. You just have the face here.
No, you should just have the face here. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You know.
No, but seriously, I think that that is in the past. You know, guys who feel that they are beautiful should be comfortable to be told that they are beautiful, and women are also beautiful. No, seriously, it's creating a whole lot of other societal issues coming up, and I don't know whether we'll be able to deal with it. You know, there's a new trend of now males painting their nails because they feel that it's a trend. They are beautiful. They want to do that. Not that they are homosexuals or bisexuals. No,
you know,
they are straight, but they feel that I should post.
What's wrong with that? This week,
and all
that has been trending, hasn't he? RMD.
Really, I've not been.
Yes,
I don't follow him.
He made a long post about earrings. The fact that his whole life he's been wanting to wear earrings, but he's never had the courage because he's always thought that I think he has a sort of a minor political role that he plays, that he didn't think that his district would appreciate their commissioner wearing earrings. But now that he's 60, he said he's been toying with the idea for about 10 years since he turned 50. Now that he's 60, he's going to, and he posts pictures of himself in a black earring, in a gold, and I'm just like, good, David. Like, good for you, right? Because, I mean, come on, we should be free to live. And I've been teasing Kwame that he needs to be sporting some 2 earrings.
Hey.
I like the black ones.
Which was the fun?
I like the black ones. Now imagine an old, honorable looking man, grey hair, like Kwame.
If you're attracting attention, you're like, no, this
grey hair with some nice black earrings. Oh dear.
Yeah, so but
amazing stuff.
But you see, it all comes from the fact of the fearfully thing. And it's ugly. And now men are also seeing their beauty and they want to express it. So let them be beautiful. Let them be beautiful. Yes. I mean, if they want to be beautiful,
hey,
go
you. Go you. Yeah. On a lighter note, though, forgive me. Over the years, growing up, there's a trend that I saw. I may be wrong. I kind of saw very beautiful men not cultivating other aspects of their personality. I think it can be said for both sexes. It can be said for both women and men. People who are extremely good looking tend not to develop other aspects of their personality.
Yeah,
it's all about what they look like.
I think society gives them a pass.
Right.
Until they realize it's too late.
Right. So, yeah. And so it's all about what I look like.
So when it's gone,
and then
what? So yeah, you're beautiful, but make sure that you develop.
Right. Be a nice human being. Have a heart. Have a soul.
Exactly.
Have some talent.
And I love the fact that
work hard.
Maame was not making the son go to the farm as other young people were, because schooling at that time was not something that every parent could afford to send their child to. But even though the child was described as beautiful, she didn't let that brood over her. She made sure that the child still went to school to get an education, and that is very, very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So characterization. Our time is almost up. What's your favorite character in the write-up?
Of course, it's Maame. Her resilience.
Right.
I think she got to a point where she said, "Listen, I'll move on with my life. I'll damn the consequences." And it was just so sad that the very thing that she thought for so much, you know, she had to lose
My goodness.
yeah. But I just felt at a point I really liked, you know, her posture to say, I won't allow society to bring me down.
Right.
I'll move on with what I have. So yeah, she was like the person I really admired in the story. No?
Right. Right. Hilda, you? What's your favorite?
Chicha. You know, I love the fact that this was someone who was Ghanaian but has been westernized, but she did not come in to be judgmental.
Right.
She played a very friendly role to Maame, even though she was Kwesi's teacher. She took Maame as a friend, you know, was there for her, spoke to her, and even, I mean, it showed that they sometimes even ate together.
Right.
And it wasn't like it was out of duty that, oh, because I am teaching your son. But you realize also the grief the teacher also went through when the boy was lost, because she also had so many plans for that young boy. And that was true and genuine friendship, you know, that somebody exhibited. It also took me back to some of the roles that some of my teachers in the past have played, you know, in my life. And there are some good teachers out there who take the child on and then say that, hey, whatever it is, I'm going to make sure that this child makes it. And they need to be applauded.
Right.
Whatever it is, you know, it's sad that nowadays some of them feel they don't have the power to do so, have as much influence in children's lives as they will want to. But I think that in the past, some of our teachers did so well. Of course, we had the teachers who were also on the other side, but for those who did well, they need to be encouraged, and those who are doing well, they need to be encouraged. It's sad that, you know, now you don't hear much of teachers stepping into people's families to really understand where the child is coming from. It's sad that now we have that wholesale, you know, those are the parts of our tradition that we shouldn't be losing. It's like we are dwelling on the negative traditions, and we've held it up to this point, and the traditions that make teachers responsible for a child till they leave the school, you understand, that they can even call and then know about the welfare of the child, help in decision making as to the courses and the future of the children that they are teaching. It's like we are losing that now. Right. You know, now it's more like come to school, hey, A, B, C, D, then we go home, and then that is it. Then parents take on from there and all that. That influence that the teacher has, we are losing it. And I think that it's necessary to bring back the love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with both of you. Right. Okay. Least favorite character.
I think I'm torn between, you know, the Kojofi's aunties and then Mame's own aunties. I just felt, you know, both didn't give a good account of themselves.
Right.
And I was particularly worried. And I'm sure that the things she was going through, the aunties could have supported her.
Right.
But because of the fact that they didn't get a share of the good, they couldn't overlook that grudge to kind of, you know, support her. And even when she was going through the divorce process, it didn't feel like they were there for her.
Right.
And I also realized that when teacher said she went to, you know, to Mame's house after he had lost the child, it was her alone.
Just her.
Because normally during bereavement, people come around, they just come and sit around. Yeah. But I was surprised that she was just left all alone. I was like, no, well, if this is what you call family, then you don't need an enemy, you know. So yeah, I just felt it was quite unfortunate how her own, you know, aunties treated her, even to the point where she had lost, you know, her child. Yeah.
Wow, good stuff. Hilda, least favorite character. Or character?
Yeah, I the aunties were terrible. You know, it reminds me of Cinderella's wicked stuff. Yeah, basically they were terrible. But my least favorite was Kojofi.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean that man was a coward. You know, how can you? And he was not even shy to even say that. Oh, I forgot to take this from her.
No, I didn't forget. She doesn't have brothers. That's why I didn't take the.
Yes.
Akuntasekai.
I mean, seriously.
Because I didn't give it in the first place.
Seriously, you have no shame. You know, why will you treat a woman like that? Why? What on earth? And it's like he didn't have. He came across as a man who didn't have a mind of his own.
Yeah.
That's what normally happens to men with multiple wives. Sorry. I feel passionately about that too, and forgive me.
Multiple wives. You know. I am not against polygamy. Even though, yes, I know. Yes. So,
and I always ask you if you are willing to share your husband.
No, I am
somehow
not.
The conversation doesn't go on after that.
When it comes to
her husband, then suddenly she doesn't love polygamy. Another person's husband.
She's just saying that if someone is practicing it, she doesn't have any problems.
You see, that would be okay, but she supports it till it gets to her home.
No, it's not in my home.
Look at that.
No.
You know, there's this funny adage that when you see a madman displaying, you tend to enjoy it, unless it's coming from your family, you know. So you know.
When you love polygamy, I would have, you know, hope that
polygamy. No.
you would give me out for sharing.
No, not at all. Not in my home. For me, I mean, I think that in that culture, in that tradition that they were in, he was allowed to marry 3 wives. Polygamy, so long as you can take care of the women equally. It's not what the Islamic traditions say. Right. You can have up to 4 wives, so long as you can take care of them equally. So if you treat them equally. If you can't treat them equally, you can't take care of them equally, then why? And that's a very difficult thing to do. That's why I would say I'm not against, because there's no way you can tell me that you can treat 2 people equally.
Is it equal sufficiently?
No,
that's another direction.
You know, equally. It's the word
equally. No 2 things are the same.
Exactly. So, and then when that comes to it, then just be a man of 1 wife or a woman of 1 husband, and then that's it. So the man was my least favorite character, and I think that the author. It would have been good if we had read more of him.
Right.
But he just was spoken of, and he comes in and just certifies all the things that were spoken about him. And for me, that was my least favorite character.
Right. Let me read a few of the messages that have come in. This one says, "Good evening, Amma, and your lovely panelists. Thanks for the interesting and in-depth analysis of the novel. I'm really enjoying the program. I would be glad if you could analyze Buchi Mecheta's Second-Class Citizen, where Shoyinke's The Lion and the Jewel. Her name is Benedicta Youngson from Takwa. Hey, Benedicta Youngson in Takwa. Yes, you know, don't worry, we got you. But I kind of think we've done
The Lion and the Jewel.
So I think we've done Second-Class Citizen. Have we done The Lion and the Jewel?
Yeah.
We have,
right?
We could go back. I mean, hey, who knows? Keep watching. Keep watching. If you have other titles, we'll send them. You know, would incorporate all those titles. This one says, "Good evening from Cape Coast. Call Aqua. Right. Thank you for watching and keep right. Other messages, but I think we've done well so far. We have 2 minutes to go. There's just one thing I wanted to speak about briefly, and then we are out. You know, when Maame loses PC and teacher is coming into the house to look for her, and she encounters all those women standing by, and we are told that in that moment they are imagining if they were Maame, and that thought puts them in more grief than I just thought it was so profound.
Yeah,
I thought it was a very profound, statement to have come from a book like this. And then I didn't feel as though Maame was alone anymore. I felt that some people at least
empathize,
tried to empathize then, and for me that was my joy, the highlights of this book for me, because she had been too lonely up until the point, the end.
But it felt like a secret love, so at least
it's okay. At least it's love. Any love is okay at this point.
Love should be expressed. Right?
It should be expressed.
It should be expressed, though.
It should be expressed, and I don't think it was towards her. It was towards
the situation.
The situation, and then you reflecting that if it's me, what will I do?
Yeah.
You know, you reflecting that, hey, I also have it, and I had that feeling actually. You know, what if this happens to me? What will I do? You know,
I didn't have that feeling. I rebuked the feeling.
Yes, and I rebuked.
I rebuked. My son is crazy too. My God.
And I rebuked it. Yes.
You don't have fear.
Thank you. I mean, thank you. Right?
Yeah. So yes, it's that whenever we tend to put ourselves into that tragedy and then ask ourselves, what if? I think we should apply a better energy to when something good happens to people,
right,
and celebrate them with the equal measure we question, you know, ourselves. Calamity. Calamity. When somebody is doing something that is good, the person has achieved, and the person is doing so great, let's put in that same vim.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, Roland. Your first time.
Yeah, interesting. I enjoyed it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You're happy to
hear that. It's not hard. She was trying to make me
be
there. Again next week.
Oh, I'll be coming.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. We have a new family member.
Yeah.
Yay. And thank you, Hilda, as
always. Thank you, Emma.
As always. Right.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing this with us every week. Thank you for sending in your views and your comments. So those of you watching us on Facebook, thank you for watching. I'd like to say thank you to the sponsors, to UATL, you know, for my fabric, to you, Talking Apparel, for the dress, Sparks, Sobolo, Ultimate, Natural Mineral Water, Milo, you know, and to all the rest of our sponsors, thank you for staying with Pan-African TV. Don't go anywhere. Hot News is up next with Justice Apia. See you tomorrow. Bye.